Welcome to the Coach's Edge podcast. Excited to get after it today as we talk about variable practice and some shooting drills that I've been messing around with that we're going to do at more of our camps this summer. We do a ton of shooting camps throughout the course of the summer. Our first 2 days of the summer are at Siegel High School in Ohio, 2 day shooting camp. So we're excited to get up there. And when we think about shooting the basketball, you think about the technical aspect of the game. You think about the types of shots that are being taken more often. Obviously, teams playing 5 out, bigs, shooting threes, transition threes, corner threes, ball screen shots, whether you're the screener picking and popping or ghost screening, slipping out to the 3 point line. Is it big shooting the three, shooting off of the dribble, off a ball screen read, whatever that might be, taking shots is, we have different coaches on the podcast. And, what's the skill? What's the skill? Shooting. Let's keep talking about shooting. Um, I personally am still, and maybe it's, we work with a lot of kids on handling the basketball. Maybe some of them it's just because they're a little bit younger. I still feel like that's almost the gateway skill that can get us to doing some other things better later on, such as shooting. So that's a big point of emphasis for me is I see that being able to take them places as far as being able to handle the ball against pressure. Maybe it's just kind of where I'm at locally, and seeing a lot of teams press and having a lot of success with the press. And I was like, man, if you just had a kid or two on the team that could really handle the ball against pressure, life would be a lot easier and your shooting would go up because you get more open shots. But when you think about shooting the basketball, there's a lot of ways that we can come at it, right? Very technique driven, right? There's some great, shooting coaches out on social media. Some are who knows what they're doing, but there's some really good ones out there. Mike Dunn is a guy who, really talks, power and, just base and very technically sound guy. He's got some great stuff. Um, Dave Love, he's got some really good stuff. He was obviously an NBA shooting coach for a really long time. Um, so there's a lot of good knowledge out there when it comes to shooting. So you can attack it from that. You can attack it from like, okay, what's the volume? Like I've never met a great shooter who didn't shoot a lot to this day. Never met a great shooter who didn't shoot a lot. So you think about just the reps and the work of putting it in. You can talk about attacking it from more of a game film aspect, videos being used more and more and more. And that's one of the great things about, you know, the day and age that we live in. I mean, everything on video when I played was VHS. I mean, I know that dates me. I got into college DVD, right? We're just transferring to DVD. Like we just didn't have the access to cut film and get clips the way that you can now. Watching, the shots that you took in a game was so much more difficult back then than it is now, where you can immediately see those shots. So being able to study your shot is a huge advantage that players need to take advantage of. But what I want to concentrate on in this one, hopefully you've already had some ideas just from me talking so far, right? Not even sharing with you what I've been adding on, but you think of some of the different, like the technique, right? The quantity. You think about using film and video, watching yourself shoot, showing your players how they're shooting. Hey, this seems to be working, going well. What are we doing here that we're not doing when we're missing? Things like that. Um, One example is that I've been doing is say I'm about 12 feet away from the basket and I'm taking a one hand form shot, right? So I like to hold the basketball in my right hand out in front, almost like I'm holding the plate. And I lift the basketball up all one handed. So now my palm is facing the ceiling, the sky. And I bring my guide hand up that position, but I'm not touching the ball, right? You've probably seen some of that before. I like that way better than the one hand behind the back and you're shooting. I mean, it's very unusual position, right? You walk, if you ever walk around one hand in front, one hand behind your back, and you're trying to do like it's kind of silly. So just put the guide hand next to the ball, don't touch it so they can still concentrate on shooting it one-handed, and you take that one-handed shot. And for me, one, maybe two, but just what's one point of emphasis you want to think about if you're doing a one-handed form shot from say 12 feet away from the basket, right? So for me, it might be making sure my palm is underneath the ball facing up. I want to concentrate. Let's say I want to concentrate on that. Okay. palm underneath the ball. I know I have a good chance from that position to be able to feel that ball roll off that pointer finger, middle finger. I can get underneath it with some arc on the ball, get some of that backspin that we want, some of the touch on the ball. Okay. So I take that one-handed form shot, whether I'm rebounding for myself or I have somebody rebounding for me, even a shooting machine, although those fly out pretty fast if you're only standing 12 feet away from them. You've probably been hit before. If you're a hooper, you know what I'm talking about. But you take that 12-foot shot, right? And then from there, you go back and maybe you take a free throw, or maybe you take a game speed catch and shoot at the foul line, or maybe you go all the way back and you shoot a catch and shoot three. And then you go back again after that one shot and you shoot it again one handed. And then you go back. So let's say I only want to do two shots. I take one handed form shot from 12 feet. I back out to the 3 point line. I shoot a catch and shoot game speed three. I go back in, one-handed form shot, back out again, catch and shoot game speed three. And I'm going, let's say 20 shots or 60 seconds, whatever that might be. How many can I make in that given amount of time? So now there's a little bit of a time constraint, some competition against myself, even if nobody's around. Maybe I'm only giving myself a point if it's a swish or if it's hitting the back rim and going in, right? So you can kind of make it a little more challenging if you like. But what I like about it is being able to get some of that transfer with my point of emphasis, right? Because if you've been a player, defense is a great example. You do a defensive drill for 10 minutes at practice and you're all locked in on defense. Everything looks great, right? Then you scrimmage and you're thinking about everything, which means you're not really focused on anything. And then it's like, "Hey, we were just working on defense for 10 minutes. Where's that transfer?" Well, this is a great way to think about that, right? I'm concentrating, like I said, getting my palm to the ceiling underneath the basketball, getting that arc and touch on the ball, feeling that ball come off my pointer finger, middle finger. And now I'm going back into that game speed shot, trying to apply what I was just focusing on literally 2 seconds before with that one hand shot. I take that three, I come back into 12 feet. Now I'm taking my time. Boom, I take that shot one handed. All right, come back out. Boom, catch and shoot three. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We're starting to concentrate as we're shooting those catch and shoot threes on what we were just working on with our one hand form shooting and that technique aspect of that back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Uh, I feel like since I've been incorporating more of these types of drills, I've improved faster. I feel more comfortable with my shot throughout the course of the spring compared to, February. I'm not in the gym as much. I'm coaching youth basketball. I'm not traveling as much. And now, March hits, I start to ramp up my training, my workouts with players again as basketball season finishes up. And adding these into some of the shooting drills for myself and our players, I feel a lot more comfortable with my shot. And I feel like the connection of the technique aspect to taking that shot, just like I might in a game, that transfer is there, right? Compared to, okay, I'm going, you know, 5 minutes one hand form shooting, and then I'm going, 5 minutes catch and shoot threes. This is one of the reasons why, if you're in our Coach's Edge membership and you see our 4 phase of form shooting, even though it's kind of blocked, like 10 makes of this, 10 makes of this, 15 makes of this, 15 makes of this. What do we do in that? We also back it out while you do that, the 4 phase of form shooting. So you might start at 7, 8 feet, but you're finishing at 15 feet, right? So we're building in a little bit of that variability. Obviously, we're changing up the shot type 4 different phases, but we're also changing up the distance. It helps. It helps compared to doing like everything from the exact same distance. So try that out. I think you're going to like it. If you're a coach, try it out, right? Take that shot one-handed from a certain distance, back out, take it at more of a game situation type shot or distance, speed, and you're going and we're working back and forth, back and forth. You want to add more of a challenge, a little more variability to it. You might go 12-foot, one hand shot, back up, foul line, game speed, catch and shoot, back up 3 point line, game speed, catch and shoot, come back in again, foul line, game speed, catch and shoot, come all the way back in, one hand form shot. So it's kind of like a ladder going back up and down. And so we're working on that technique aspect of really getting palm under the ball. Whatever you want to concentrate on, honestly, is fine. with your one hand form shot as an example, just an example. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. I love the variability of working on my shot. I feel more comfortable. I feel like more in a groove. I feel like I get into my shot faster. I'll jump in with some of our players and work out with them. Even when I'm playing now, I feel like I've transitioned into our small sided games faster and easier compared to like if I said, all right, we're going to shoot 53s, done. Okay, we're going to do this next. We're just we're hopping back and forth with a lot of our skill work as far as whether it's a dribble, whether it's a catch, where there's movement, whether we're changing up that distance, whether we're concentrating on technique immediately into something that's game speed, going back into the technique. Obviously, your players need some type of a foundation to work out of. You know, I'm going to spend some more time on teaching that foundation and building that foundation, whether it's at a young age, whether it's at the beginning of the summer, beginning of a season, spending more time on that. But once they have it down, boy, I really like kind of going back and forth with some of the technique and the variability of some game speed stuff. And then we can bring it back and say, okay, I've noticed this with our shot. Let's say it's something with, not getting our elbow up high enough. We can block that out, just concentrate on that for a while. Maybe it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, who knows? Maybe it's a whole workout. I don't know. But then you can start to jump back in once you feel like, we're making some progress in that area, and then see how we can transfer it back and forth into some game situation aspects of shooting, small sided games, decision making. Um, that's where I'm at with some of our shooting as we head into the summer. And I'm shooting the basketball better. I'm shooting it better than I did 3 months ago. And one of the reasons for that is because I've incorporated more of really locking in on a specific piece of my technique and trying to focus on that as I jump almost immediately into something that I'm doing that I would be very similar to what I would do in a game. Think about it, try it out. I hope it helps you. More of this. Go to coachesedge.coach, jump into our membership. Our sponsor. Almost forgot our Low Country Family Dentistry. Pawleys Island, South Carolina. Low Country Family Dentistry, Pawleys Island, South Carolina. They are our main sponsor for Kramer basketball this summer with our local camps. They have helped us more than any of the other small businesses. They gave the most money of purchasing a free t-shirt for all the players that we'll work with during the summer in South Carolina and in the fall. We're going to be able to give all of them a free t-shirt because of Low Country Family Dentistry and our other sponsors. So hit them up if you're a local and you need to get those teeth taken care of nice and clean. Thank you for listening to the Coach's Edge podcast. Get after it today.